Okay, so Photoshop 2021 has dropped a load of new features. Too many for me to go into in this video, but I've chosen the top 4 that I think you should be starting to use today. Let's do this. The first thing I'm going to talk about today is the new sky replacement, which I think is actually fantastic. Up until now, I've been using Luminar 4 to replace my skies if I had to. Certainly on a commercial shoot, if you only have one time to get a location and the weather, sky, all that kind of stuff isn't working out for you, this is a really good option. And I chose this image. By the way, these images we're going to see today aren't mine. I got these off of Envato Elements, which is a paid-for service that you can have a look in the description down below if you want to have a look. And we're going to get on with this. So we're going to go to Edit and Sky Replacement. Now I chose this image for a reason, and I'll explain that in a second. And you'll see that there is a sky already picked, if you like, from your drop-down list up here. You can drop that down, and any skies that you currently have loaded are in there, so you just have to click on them and it will change the sky. I chose this image because the lighthouse is a similar kind of color as the background, so it's kind of gone through, and I'm going to show you how to fix that really easily later, because Photoshop does a really cool thing with masks, which Luminar 4 can do. It's just a bit more tricky. If you work in Photoshop, you'll have no trouble whatsoever. So we've got this sky, but in fact I want a little bit more of a dramatic sky. Let's find something with a little bit more drama. Now it's a very flat sky, so it doesn't matter where the sun might be coming from in our image, because there's no shadows or harsh shadows. The sun wasn't out. I'm assuming it's just a blank cloudy day. You'd never know where the sun was coming from. You could put a sunset in there if you so wished, and it wouldn't be outside the realms of doable. So let's just find a sky that's good enough, and that's fine. If you want to add a sky, by the way, this little add button here will open up your browser. You can search through and find more skies and just add them as you go. I'm assuming you can add an entire folder of skies if you so wish. So let's just click off of there a second, and we've got a few adjustments here. So we can shift the edge of the sky. So we shift it up or down. See, the edge is encroaching into our what would be our horizon. Let's put this back to 0. So you will see that some of the sky encroaching into our foreground. Not a problem at all. We've got a very straight horizon. We can sort that out later when we come to look at our mask. I'm not too worried about that. All I'm worried about at the moment is the elements of the sky and how it's affecting our ground. We can change the temperature of the sky, the brightness of the sky, and the scale of the sky. So if the sky is not big enough, we can make it bigger. If you want to make it smaller, you are going to see it going to encroach into your current image, which isn't any good to us. Let's just put that back up just slightly. There we go. And we can flip it if you want to. If you had a sun in there somewhere and you wanted to flip it back around, that's not a problem at all. Easily done. Foreground adjustments are where I think this is pretty awesome, because we can relight the foreground and the color to match the sky. So if I go full on light and adjustment there, you see that everything gets a little bit darker. It assumes that the current state of or time of the day is darker than what it was originally, so it's added some darkness and some color adjustment. Now watch that foreground. Now we've got a lot of this color in the foreground. That's huge. That's massive. If we go all the way to the other side, we've now got the original color of the underlying image. Doesn't match the sky now. We've now got a lot of red, a lot of magenta in the sky, and the foreground is very blue. Doesn't work. So we can relight with one simple slider, maybe not so far. Boom. And then our output, we can either output the same layer or new layer, or duplicate that same layer. So we go new layer, and let's uncheck the preview to see what the before and after was like. And that's massive. We have got encroachment here and here because that is the wave, and it's white. It's assuming that's part of the sky, and this part of the building is very much like the background, and we're going to sort that out now, because we now have, let's move this up, we now have a mask. And you'll notice that on this mask here, you'll see a lot of the white areas on the lighthouse are actually not black, and they should be. So all we need to do is take a brush, and we are going to brush in black. We're going to change this, hit X to swap that over. We're going to make sure that we are at 100% and not 5% flow. and a fairly hard brush, and let's just go with that there. You could also, if you wanted to, just take a polygon lasso tool and then use your brush, and you know you're not going to go outside the edges. And the same down here, we can get rid of that by Control D. We just want to get rid of that from there. We may want to bring a little bit of it back actually. We're going to have a soft brush, turn that to white, and go down to maybe 15% smoothness. So bring some of that just back ever so slightly in there. Go down even further. Let's go down to 5. And just bring just a little bit of that back in the waves there. So we've got a bit of colour coming through on the waves. Perfect. Easy, done. You could do that with any of the skies that you've got in there, and it will do a really, really good job. I'm really pleased with that. I think that's one of the best tools they brought out in years in Photoshop. It's going to make my workflow for commercial stuff a lot easier, and yeah, looking forward to using that a lot more. Okay, so let's get on to the second setting that I'm really, really pleased with. And yes, this is me. I took this picture at work the other day, and I'm going to use this as an example of skin smoothing because I have very rough skin. This may not work too much around hair, but certainly if you have a female have almost very smooth skin already, we can go into the neural filters here, and skin smoothing we can turn on, and already you see an adjustment there. We've got 2 sliders, that's all it takes, blur and smoothness. You can do whatever you like. This sort of encroaches into my beard, so it doesn't really work. So smoothness all the way up. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, we don't want to go like that. So we would look for something a little bit more natural perhaps. It won't take out spots, so before you do something like this, you might want to go over your skin with the spot removal tool or healing brush tool. Anything like that you currently use in your workflow would be advantageous before you get to this point. But you see the idea here is a very quick but very effective way of smoothing skin. Really, really easy. You may want to take a mask to the beard area on there, because obviously it's smoothing my beard out as well, and you may not really want that. I'm going to cancel that for a second. That's number 2. The next one is the Smart Portrait filter. So we need to go back into the neural filter. So it's filter, neural filter. This is in beta. So we're going to come down to here. These ones you see on here that have beta next to them, they're currently out, but you may have to download them. I haven't used a couple of these. If I wanted to, you'd have to download the Super Zoom. I've got a couple in here that I want to look at. The first one is Smart Portrait. So we're going to click on that. This is going to do some very funky stuff depending on your face. And I found this hasn't really worked on my face, and I'll show you why in a second. Mainly I think because of my beard. It has to analyse your face, and it's very difficult when you've got facial hair, I would imagine. But if you want to make someone happy, I'm going to click on this. It's going to take a bit of time. And that is what it does. Not good. Let's turn that off really quick. This, and you go through a few of these settings. Surprise does a similar kind of thing, and anger. If I go the other way, maybe down with surprise and down with anger a little bit, I can give myself a smile. I have tested this. It obviously affects the beard. Obviously it doesn't work too well. It can't really analyse my face too well, and it does a bit of a mess job. There's other things you can do. You can age. This doesn't work too well for me either. Again, I just don't think with facial hair it does a very good job. Look at that, it's crazy. I just don't think it can analyse my face too well because of my hair. It can't really define the jawline properly. You see this mesh here that's trying to find my jawline, I think, and it's just not working. You can change the head direction. So if I wanted to look more to our right, it will do that. It will move around. More to our left, it'll bring it around again. It's not doing it too well on my face. If my face was maybe dead straight, it's really warping my eye a little bit there. It would probably do a better job if I was face on direct, but you can relight the face. So you can change where light's coming from. That's pretty cool. And I know this hasn't worked on my face too well, but I want to just give you an idea of how good this technology can be. This is actually really, I don't know, I'm really excited for this, for these kind of filters, because I think it's going to do a massive job. A few years time, the AI in this kind of stuff is just going to be phenomenal, and I'm really excited for that. This is the beginning stage of that. Obviously this is all in beta at the moment, so I am super excited for these kind of filters, and I think it's going to do wonders in a couple of years time. If you've got a model that's just slightly not doing what you want him or her to do, we can start messing around with things like face and stuff like that. I think that's amazing. I don't know, what do you think? Drop me a comment down below and let me know. We're going to come on to the last image on here. Let's just cancel that out because we don't want to see my ugly mug again, or the last couple of images. This is black and white, so the new neural filter to colorize black and white images. Again, these images aren't mine, these were downloaded from Envato Elements, but if we go back into filter, neural filter, and into beta again, so go to beta and then into colorize, we'll turn that on. Look at that, that is absolutely amazing. I am so excited for this, because this is going to make workflow, especially working with a client who potentially has an old black and white image that you need to colorize. This is actually really good. You know, there's a few issues like the arm here and the arm there isn't quite the right color. Not a problem. Let's find the color and fill it in. So if you can hit the color button there, we can find a match. Unfortunately, you can't pick a color. I wish you could have a picker here. Maybe that's something they'll do in future elements. But if we can find a kind of skin tone color that kind of matches her skin tone here, there, and then on this picture, not on here, you can't do anything on here, but on this picture here, if I choose an area there, it adds that in. Look, it's a little bit too yellowy, so let's go down a little bit and click on it again, and it lines up ever so slightly. We can also add a little bit more down here, so same color. We can pick there. It's actually added it onto the background, so we don't want that. We actually want maybe a green, maybe a nice green background here. Let's see if we can do that on there. Let's pick. Ooh, bit too much, so it doesn't always work. Let's go back one. We don't want that there, so we'll leave it at that. That's not too bad, and for what it is, we can maybe add a sky in up there. So let's go for a nice sky blue. I mean, it leaves a lot to be desired, but that's not bad at all. I'm really pleased with this, and I think it's going to do with a little bit more refinement on here. I don't know why that's there. Let's take that out. A little bit more refinement and a little bit of playing around. Obviously, I can't show you how to use this completely because that's probably a whole video in itself, which I may do in the future some point. If you want that, let me know down in the comments. But that is actually really good. I love it. Let's cancel that out and go to our next picture, which is just a tree with a sky, nothing else. Let's colorize that. Let's do that. Filter, null filter, and then we are going to go into the beta and colorize. Boom. Nothing else needed. This has got a sun coming directly at us through the trees. Really nice blue sky, and it's chosen really nice greens and yellows down here because you know it knows where the sun's coming from. It must do. Good shadow color, so it's all the green like near us is darker. We've got dark colors underneath here. The trees over here are a darker color. It's amazing. You tell me that's not fantastic. I haven't done anything else to that. That's crazy good. Awesome. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of this. If you did, please whack a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get updates every time I upload a new video. And that would be fantastic. See you soon, guys. Bye. You're still here. Nice. It's good that you're still here because I want to tell you a little something. Those people who are avid followers of me, I want to give a little something back and to do that, it means working alongside you online, because a lot of you can't make it to my workshop. So I've just set up a Patreon account. It is patreon.com/Andy Hornby Photos. So Patreon is a platform where we can create stuff together, even if you're halfway across the globe, and I can learn and teach alongside you, literally alongside you. There's so many things I can do to help you get your photography just to that next level. It is awesome. If you can make it to one of my workshops, I've got a website. Go to ahphotographyworkshops.uk and have a look, see what I've got going on. But if you can't make it to one of my workshops, Patreon is a really good platform where we can create stuff together and we can take your photography to another level. So if you like what I'm doing and you want me to learn alongside yourself, see you there. Take it easy, have a good day. Bye.